welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting shift, how artificial intelligence is fundamentally reshaping the travel industry.
That's right.
And we're not just talking about, the basic chatbots you might see here and there.
No, not at all.
That seems like a much deeper transformation, especially for how businesses plan and book travel.
Exactly. We've been looking at some really compelling information, particularly from a platform called Samyag AI.
Samyag AI, okay.
And it really highlights how AI is moving far beyond just, answering simple questions. It's becoming much more active.
Active in what sense?
Well, our mission today really is to understand the core ways AI is actually being implemented in travel now, what makes this wave of tech different, and ultimately what does this mean for, say, efficiency gains or getting those truly personalized experiences.
So kind of a quick way to get up to speed on this whole evolving landscape.
Precisely. Think of it like that, a focused look.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The material mentions the evolution of AI in travel. It draws quite a sharp contrast between AI's older role and what it can do now.
Yeah, it does. And what's really fascinating here is this transition they talk about. AI used to be primarily an information provider, right?
Like a search engine, basically.
Sort of, yeah. But now the source calls it an action taker.
An action taker.
It's no longer just about pulling up flight times or lists of hotels. This current iteration, it understands and anticipates user needs like humans.
Wow. Okay, that's a significant claim. Understanding and anticipating.
It is. It signifies a big shift. AI isn't just a tool helping humans anymore. It's becoming a more, let's say, autonomous agent in the travel process itself.
Which must raise questions about trust and control within these systems, I imagine.
Absolutely. That's a whole other layer to consider.
Can you give us a concrete example, something that really shows this action taker capability?
Sure. The source has a great illustration. Picture a business traveler saying something like, "Hello, find me an Accor hotel in Grand Villa.
Okay.
Make sure the hotel has a gym and is located close to a good coffee place." Pretty specific needs.
Right. Multiple constraints there. Even a small typo in Vila.
Exactly. And the AI's immediate response isn't just a list of Accor hotels. It's, sure, looking for options right away.
Ah, so it's demonstrating understanding and proactivity.
Precisely. It's not just picking out keywords like Accor or gym. It seems to grasp the actual intent behind the request, the specific chain, the location, those particular preferences like the gym and the coffee shop nearby.
Yeah, that sounds much less like a search engine query and more like, well, talking to a really efficient travel assistant who just gets it.
That's a good way to put it.
So the source then digs into the Samyag AI platform capabilities. What are the key functions they're highlighting there?
Right. So building on that idea of AI being more than just informational, Samyag AI positions itself as really blending advanced tech with deep travel expertise.
Okay. They talk about several core things. First, they're specialized models. These aren't generic AI models. They are specifically optimized for travel industry needs.
Tailor-made.
Yes. Even trained, they say, for air route construction and hotel search workflows.
Air route construction. That sounds complex.
It is. It implies, sophisticated machine learning trained on huge amounts of travel-specific data that gives it a depth of understanding that a general AI just wouldn't have.
So definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's built for this industry from the ground up.
Exactly. Then they mention dedicated agents within what they call their agentic platform.
Agentic platform. What does that mean?
Think of it like an architecture where you have multiple specialized AI agents. Each one is skilled in a specific travel task, like finding flights or hotels or ground transport.
Ah, like a team of specialists.
Kinda, yeah. And these dedicated agents know which tools to use for which job, making the whole process efficient and accurate.
Okay, that makes sense. And another key point is the omni-channel design. This means you can interact with it through the web, via email, even through messaging apps like WhatsApp.
WhatsApp for booking business travel.
Apparently so. And they stress it provides a consistent experience across all channels. That's a pretty big deal for business travelers who need flexibility, right? Managing things on the move.
Definitely. Now, what about the integration piece? That's often the tricky part, getting new tech to play nicely with existing company systems.
Good question. They address that with what they call enterprise-grade integration. They emphasize that their platform seamlessly connects with existing business systems.
Seamlessly is a strong word in IT.
Well, they say it uses purpose-built connectors that take years to develop.
Years. Okay, so they're suggesting a serious investment in making that connection smooth.
It implies they understand the complexities, the legacy systems businesses often have. It would be interesting to know more about the specific hurdles they overcame with those connectors.
Right, okay. So we have the capabilities. Let's get practical. The key product features and functionality. How do people actually use this?
Yeah, they outline some really interesting practical ways. One is called Agile AI Email Driven SBT.
Email driven.
Yeah, it sounds surprisingly simple. Employees book by emailing their travel department.
So just send an email with your request, like, I need a flight to London next Tuesday.
Pretty much. The AI processes the email, understands the request, presumably asks clarifying questions if needed, and then handles the booking.
That sounds remarkably efficient. It completely bypasses needing to learn or log into a separate booking tool.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier to using the system. Then there's also booking via WhatsApp and bot for travel booking.
Ah, the WhatsApp again.
Using simple chat, reinforcing that conversational interface we talked about.
Feels very user-friendly.
And finally, they highlight Agent AI automated quote and booking. This sounds like the most comprehensive feature. It can apparently automatically quote, book and manage the booking process. The goal is to get better options and offers through a simple process, so automating the entire life cycle.
Quote, book and manage.
Yeah.
That's a significant promise for efficiency in travel management.
It really is.
Okay, so Samyag AI seems very tailored, very integrated for business travel, which brings up the obvious question. What makes it different from the generic AI, the LLMs that we hear so much about?
That's a really crucial distinction they make. They explicitly state Samyag.ai is not any generic LLM.
Right.
It's designed, they say, to address travel-specific use cases with precision and intelligence.
And how does that difference actually manifest? What are the key differentiators?
They point to a few big ones. First, real-time data access. This is huge in travel.
How so?
Well, generic LLMs might be working off data that's, 3, maybe even 6 months old.
Which in travel terms is ancient history, right? Prices, availability.
Completely useless, often. Samyag claims to deliver fresh, current information every time with real-time data and integrations. That immediacy is vital.
That real-time aspect is fascinating.
Yeah.
How does that work technically? Constantly updating databases.
The source doesn't detail the exact infrastructure, but it implies deep, continuous connections to global distribution systems, GDSs, airline APIs, hotel inventory systems, the actual sources of truth for travel data. The benefit isn't just avoiding outdated info, but also potentially spotting fleeting deals or accurate, up-to-the-minute availability.
Okay, so real-time data is number one. What else?
Specialized content connectors. This links back to the integration point. They boast robust integrations with 70-plus travel systems.
70 plus. That's a lot.
It is. And they argue that generic AI solutions can't match that level of deep connectivity to the actual travel infrastructure. That's what allows them to do the bookings, not just talk about them.
Makes sense. You need the pipes connected.
Exactly. And finally, they talk about travel-specific intelligence. It's purpose-built for travel workflows, not just general knowledge. It understands things like fare rules, hotel policies, visa requirements, perhaps. The nuances a general AI wouldn't grasp.
So, like using a specialized surgical tool versus a Swiss Army knife.
That's a perfect analogy, actually. It's designed for the specific, complex job of travel.
Got it. Okay, zooming out a bit then. What's the bigger picture here? The strategic importance of AI in travel, according to the source.
Well, it underscores a broad trend. Global business leaders view AI as essential for organizational success in the next 5 years. It's not optional anymore. It's becoming core.
And within travel specifically.
And the main drivers seem clear. Travel leaders are adopting generative AI primarily for cost savings and efficiency gains. That's the bottom line push.
Efficiency and cost. The usual suspects for business tech adoption.
Pretty much. But they also highlight a key advantage.
Yeah.
The ability to connect to your own travel data sources to service.
Meaning a company's specific travel history and policies.
Exactly, which allows for even more tailored solutions, potentially optimizing routes or supplier choices based on that company's actual patterns and negotiated rates.
That sounds very powerful.
Yeah.
What about actually implementing this? Is it difficult for companies to adopt?
They actually emphasize easy adoption. Because the interface is simple email, chat, they claim it leads to higher adoption without training.
No training needed is a big plus.
It really is. It removes a major barrier. And they also stress its ability to handle complex needs. It's not just for simple point-to-point trips, but can manage intricate travel requirements effectively.
So it can handle the tricky multi-leg international trips with specific visa needs and hotel preferences.
That seems to be the implication, yes, that it's robust enough for complex scenarios.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've done a deep dive into how AI is changing travel, especially business travel, looking through the lens of Samyag AI. What are the main takeaways for you?
I think the core message is just how much AI in travel has evolved.
Yeah.
It's really moved beyond being just an information kiosk.
Right, the action taker idea.
Exactly. It's actively managing complex bookings, understanding user needs with much more nuance, and platforms like Samyag AI are pushing this by offering, real efficiency, personalization, and that crucial real-time data.
And they differentiate themselves from the more generic AI tools through that deep industry focus, the specialized models, and those extensive integrations.
Precisely. That specialization seems key.
This has been genuinely insightful. It really shows how fast this field is moving. Gives you a lot to think about.
Definitely.
So here's something maybe for you, the listener, to mull over.
Yeah.
Considering how quickly AI is evolving in travel, what new levels of efficiency or maybe personalization might we realistically see become commonplace in the next few years?
Good question.
Not just for businesses, but for our personal travel too. And maybe more fundamentally, what questions does this raise about how we even think about planning travel? And what does it mean for the future role of, well, human travel agents?
Yeah, big questions to ponder.
That's your food for thought from this week's Deep Dive. Thanks for tuning in.